Hey, everybody, this is Betsy Carmody. We've covered a lot of popular culture on our little podcast, but sometimes there's a few things that just get past us. That's where the Sacred Six steps in. From Star Trek to Major League Baseball, from the streets of Baltimore on the wire to the trails of the Camino de Santiago in Spain, the Sacred Six is there to deep dive on topics that deserve just a little more attention. So if you're looking to cover an item in popular culture from A to Z, check out the Sacred Six on the Popping Collars feed, wherever you get your podcasts. Pop, pop.
Oh, thank you.
Sam, Paulette, Marv, meet... Well, you know them. You all big fans of the podcast. You're tie-dye. The OG.
Little light is shining through the window. Lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Popping Collars. I am your host, one of four, Ricardo Avila. I'm the rector at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Los Gatos, California, the home of Netflix, the home of many lovely things. And with me are my co-hosts. You know them by now, but let's go ahead and do a round-robin introduction, starting with the person to my right, Betsy Carmody. Betsy, tell us.
My name is Betsy. I'm here in Alexandria, Virginia, where I work at the Episcopal High School as head chaplain. And when's this episode coming out, Greg? Where are we going to be?
We are June.
This is June. I'm out of school. I'm so close right now. We're recording. I'll just, it's just moment to moment here. It's every day is one more moment making thing for the seniors. It's just like we're in that heavy countdown time. So it's going to be great. Things are about to be real quiet here at the old boarding school.
That's great. Thank you, Betsy.
Yeah.
Why is the school called the Episcopal School? Could they not think of a name, or is it like the?
It's Episcopal High School, but we were the first high school in the state of Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So when we cheer at events, sometimes people say, "Go high school." That's all they say.
That's cute.
Wow. So do you have a mascot called a mascot?
We do not have a mascot. We're color.
You're a color.
We're just we're maroon. The maroon. Like Harvard Crimson.
Right. Well, thank you. I'm glad I asked. I always
Little history lesson.
Also with me is my other co-host hailing from the middle of the country, Liz Easton. Tell us how it's going.
Hey, Ricardo. I am Liz Easton. I'm the canon to the ordinary in the Diocese of Nebraska. And it's great. It's thunderstorm season. Which is my favorite time of year. I love it. As long as everyone stays safe, it's just sort of a beautiful time in the Midwest, and not much else to report. I'm also the transition minister in the Diocese of Nebraska. And if you are an Episcopal priest searching for a new call, I'd love to talk to you. dioneb.org. Look us up. Give me a call.
So I feel like at a certain point, once Liz does this at least 3 or 4 times, guys, I think we have to get some sponsorship dollars from the diocese.
From Dioneb,
right.
Sure.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I think we would have our first official commercial sponsor of the show. Sorry, Liz, that was a little business aside.
Yeah, I understand. I think that we'd be up for it. We're exploring all avenues of advertising.
Yeah, Betsy, you are exactly right on that. No free ads. You got it.
No free ads.
Wait, the Episcopal High School didn't just get a free ad?
I mean, I didn't. I was asked a question and I answered it. I wasn't smacking of thirst and desperation.
Yeah.
Liz. I mean, come on.
Man.
It's
truer words.
Betsy, breaking up the Tucker
I'm sorry.
argument.
I love the Diocese of Nebraska. I'm sorry. I'm going to launch into another commercial for the Diocese.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
I have to say, I love the Diocese of Nebraska as well. I love the canon to the ordinary, and I love when I've been in Omaha, I've enjoyed it, and certainly the Bruce Springsteen album Nebraska. from which he played one or two songs when Liz and I saw him on Broadway a few years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Brought
I
it
don't know
up
if-
again.
Don't know if
Way to
anyone knows
go.
that.
Just backdoor into
It's
that.
not even a
Backdoor.
segue. That's uncalled for.
It is uncalled for. You're right. Okay. And then finally, last but certainly not least, is the inimitable, wonderful, ever charming,
What?
and ever wise Greg Knight. Tell us,
Wow.
Greg.
Charming,
Wow.
Betsy. Hear that?
Imitable. What word is that?
I say it. Inimitable.
What does that mean? I've never heard that word.
That means I'm on all of these podcasts. That's what it means. Hey, Ricardo.
Hey,
Thank
Greg.
you for the introduction. I appreciate it. Yes, I am down here in Palm Beach, Florida, where I work at the Church of Bethesda by the Sea. One of the things that I do at the Church of Bethesda by the Sea is that I lead a theology in film class. And we just watched our last film of the series. This past week, we watched A Man for All Seasons from 1966. My trick with movies now is that I watch them really late at night. If a movie is good, I will stay awake. And if I'm struggling with a movie, I will fall asleep. I'm proud to say that I made it through most of A Man for All Seasons. But
You made it through
towards-
most of the seasons? Most of
right.
the seasons?
Most of the seasons I made it. But there was a moment where I was starting to fade just a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to finish this up tomorrow. I'm going to have to stop it right here, finish it up tomorrow. So on my lunch break today, I fire up A Man for All Seasons. I had exactly 1 minute left to go in the movie. I turn it on. Thomas More gets beheaded. Spoilers. By the way. Thomas More gets beheaded and it's over. And I'm like, what? Oh, I could have just stayed up for that. Anyway, that's my story.
Nice, Greg. Well, thanks for the spoiler. All right. Well, thank you all. We're back to one of my favorite episodes that we do on Popping Collars. It's now become an institution, if you will. This is our third annual Popping Playlist, wherein your favorite co-hosts of your favorite Episcopal podcast, the longest running, by the way, in history, get together and choose 4 songs that they think you should hear. And we mix it up randomly, and we each share about why these songs are, why they tickle our ears and tickle our fancy, why they make us want to groove or gaze at our navel or share with someone else. So without further ado, because we know you want to hear what we want you to hear, let us spin the magic wheel.
Betsy's favorite wheel.
Boo.
It landed on Liz. Liz Easton will
Oh
be
my
kicking off our
gosh.
Spotify playlist.
Okay.
Hey, Liz, before you start, let me just say, everybody, that this is going to be completely random according to the wheel's whims. And so Liz could have all 4 of her songs in
Oh.
the for all we know.
I could. None of
but-
us knows.
I like the suspense.
None of us knows.
Yeah.
Thank you. My list is like insanely eclectic. Like it's so eclectic, it's ridiculous. So just like buckle up. I don't know why I picked any of these songs. They have nothing in common other than that I like them. And so the first one I'm going to tell you a little something about is a song that I had never heard until this year. It is the song Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac.
You could be my silver spring, blue-green colors flashing.
Have you guys heard this song?
Wow. You hadn't heard
Yeah,
it. until this
you've
year?
never heard
I have
that
never
song?
heard Silver Springs. Never.
I don't know it, at least by name.
Okay, thank you.
Dang, it's
Okay,
on
okay.
Rumors, right?
No, no, it is not on Rumors. And so let me tell you a little story about this incredible song by Fleetwood Mac. So Stevie Nicks wrote a song about her breakup with Lindsey Buckingham, and it is called Silver Springs. It is a beautiful song, and it was not included on the album. And she was pissed about that. What was included on the album was Lindsey Buckingham's song about breaking up with Stevie Nicks called Go Your Own Way, which is a little rude, okay? So when they released Go Your Own Way as a single, Silver Springs was the B-side to that single, but it was never on the album. In like the 90s, maybe 1997, the original lineup of Fleetwood Mac reunited for a tour called The Dance. And then it was televised.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because I remember
Yes, I do.
my parents were like, oh my God, like Fleetwood
My
Mac
parents
is
were
back together.
losing their mind.
Totally. So we all watched it, right? So they perform this song, Silver Springs. But as the performance continues, you can watch them. They sort of are they're standing side by side on the stage and they're kind of sneaking glances with each other. She turns to him and just like belts out the end of the song to him. The last, it's like a repetition of the final words of the song, which are, I will follow you down till the sound of my voice will haunt you. You'll never get away from the sound of a woman who loves you. And you can see it is like a witchy incantation. And she is just, all of this energy is going at him. And you can like see him sort of back away like, oh my God, is this really happening? So that's my first song, Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac. Not a religious aspect to this at all, but.
Okay, spin the wheel. It landed on Ricardo.
Hey!
There's a very loose theme to my 4 songs, and it's basically songs that I've discovered or rediscovered in the past year or two. My first choice is one that I rediscovered. It just shows up on Spotify sometimes randomly if you let your mix go too long, and they start suggesting stuff. So it's a cover. Oh, and then 2 of my songs are from 1969. 2 of my songs are cover songs. So the first one is called To Love Somebody, and is by Nina Simone.
There's a life, a certain kind of life.
It's actually written by the Bee Gees and performed by the Bee Gees. It was on their 1967 album, Bee Gees First. But this recording by Nina Simone, I think, is amazing. It's from 1969, and I discovered it because I did a little, you know how you sometimes late night do rabbit holes where you're looking at things and then suddenly this thing pops up, the 100 best songs of 1969 according to so-and-so magazine, maybe Rolling Stone or something. So of course I had to look at them all. It was up till 4 a.m. I think this was a thing in like the late 60s of like this combination of like and like strings and the backup singers who kind of chime in and respond or repeat what you just said. So it's just a very, very fun song, but about a depressing topic. It's like, you know, I love you so much, but you don't know what it's like because you don't love me the same way, basically. That the song was written by Barry and Robin Gibb back in the 60s when they weren't disco at all. They were much more kind of pop folk. In a June 2001 interview with Mojo Magazine, he says, this song was for Robert Stigwood, their producer. I say that unabashedly. He asked me to write a song for him personally. It was written in New York and played to Otis Redding, and actually originally Otis Redding was going to record it. But personally it was for Robert. He meant a great deal to me. I don't think it was a homosexual affection, but a tremendous admiration for this man's abilities and gifts. It's a love song. Like, one of the verses is, now Nina Simone says, I'm a woman, but he says, I'm a man. Can't you see what I am? I live and breathe for you. But what good does it do if I ain't got you? I ain't got you. So that's kind of interesting. But it's a great song. NME, New Musical Express, named it number 94 on its 100 greatest songs of the 1960s. I love fun facts like that. Nina Simone, Love Somebody, 1969.
Spinning?
Yes.
I'm just, not to rush us along, I just know that we have a lot of songs that we need to get through.
I know.
The wheel has chosen Betsy, its favorite person, Betsy.
So I'm going to go with a shorty. It's just a good song. Like, it's a song that, like, those songs you imagine that you turn up while you're getting ready to go out. And so it's a song that is my only U2 connection on this list. It is not U2, which, by the way, I should tell everybody, I saw Bono on Broadway last month.
That's
so
right.
just, you know, hey, you know, you have Bruce, I have Bono. That's fine. This song is called These Are the Days, and it's by Inhaler. Which which is a band that is fronted by Bono's son, Elijah. So they started as a teen band together, and then they released their first album and they went #1 on the British music charts. But it's just a great song. It's your summer playlist, kind of windows down type song. So there you go, Inhaler.
Nice.
Love it.
These are the days. I thought you were going to say 10,000 Maniacs for a second.
Mm-hmm. That's also a great song.
All right. Wheel. Oh, look at this fair and balanced wheel. It has picked me for the fourth
Wow.
on our playlist.
I don't
And
trust this wheel.
I'm sorry. What I heard was I very much trust this wheel. Is that what
No, I do not.
Oh. Never mind. So I have a kind of very loose theme for mine, and it's actually kind of multiple themes. One is I wanted to pick songs from different decades. Two is I wanted to pick songs from one-hit wonder artists, because that's kind of fun, right? Like, the one-hit wonder people are the songs that show up and you're like, oh yeah. And then three, I was thinking of what do I want to hear this summer? And after, last year I was feeling really pretty heavy around this time when we were making the playlist. And so I just my heart is going to a place of I just need something light and fun and youthful. That's the big thing that's kind of running through my head as I was putting together a list of songs. And so I'm kicking things off with my 1970s one-hit wonder from the band Mott the Hoople. It's All the Young Dudes.
But then he rapped all night about his suicide. I'd kick it in the head when he was 25. Speed job.
Yeah, originally written by David Bowie, which I think Bowie performs it in concerts every now and then. It's one of those songs that it's you can kind of hear some of the influences that Bowie had running through his brain when he was writing the song. There are parts of the lyrics where it sounds very much like Dylan, and then the sort of shouting parts during the chorus sound very much like a John Lennon kind of vibe. And it's almost like this mashup of all of these kind of influences that were sort of weaving their way through maybe Bowie's world, but certainly 70s music at the time. And where is the experimentation coming from? Where is the joy coming from? Where is the youthful energy coming from? And so All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople.
I've literally never heard that song.
You'll hear it when this episode comes out. You'll love it. And you'll get to hear it on our Spotify playlist that I'm currently creating right now.
I'm not supposed to say.
Wow.
Mott the Hoople. How could you not become world famous and have many hits with a name like that? They probably had a wheel to spin to find out what their name would be, and that's what happened.
Right. Speaking of the wheel, it has picked me again.
I
get back-to-back
Two
picks.
in a row.
Nice.
Back-to-back
It's a draft. It's a draft order.
No pressure.
The wheel appreciated my, complimenting.
Let's not personify the wheel.
So my list of one-hit wonders comes to the 80s, to a band that is not a one-hit wonder, I'm pretty sure. I'm picking Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House. I know, Betsy, I break
Your
the rules.
theme falls apart, Greg.
Sorry. But here's the thing. Crowded House doesn't have a ton of hits. And this is one of, maybe there are two hit wonder, right? But Don't Dream It's Over is one of those songs that it shouldn't be a hit. When you listen to it, you're like, okay, this is kind of pretty. But it doesn't rhyme. There's no rhyming in the song, which is a little strange. But the reason that I picked it is because Don't Dream It's Over shows up in the mini-series The Stand. And it shows up when Molly Ringwald and the kid who played Ferris Bueller on the TV show, or not Ferris Bueller, what was the other? Parker Lewis.
Parker Lewis can't lose.
Parker Lewis can't lose.
Yeah, what's his name? Corin Nemec.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
I'll look it up. Anyway, the two of them are stuck in Maine together, and in their minds, they're the only people left in the world. and Molly Ringwald finds this record player in this old sort of like sleeve of 45s, and she puts on Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House, and they just sit there in the living room and listen to the song. And then it does like a montage of what the world looks like outside, and like, you know, the quietness and the virus stuff and the like how people are surviving and like all that stuff. But the cool thing is that the miniseries lets the full song kind of play. And the reason that I picked it is because, like, one, it's a great needle drop, and I'm always a big fan of needle drops. But two, there comes this moment where, like, it feels like something is being lost. Like, this youthfulness is being lost in this moment. Not because they're aging out of it, but because they've sort of seen, like, damage that can happen in the world, you know, like they've gotten the knowledge of like how evil kind of moves through the world, and it makes them lose like whatever innocence they may have had. And it's just really poignant. And so every time I hear that song, I think of that scene from the miniseries, and I think of these two young people who are going to have to make their way in a really messed up world. Okay,
Greg,
back to the wheel.
No, I got something to say.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Crowded House. So first of all, I actually Googled as you were talking, and one of the little sub questions on Google was Crowded House a one-hit wonder?
Oh.
Topical. And it says no.
Okay.
In fact, their self-titled debut album in the U.S. provided 2 top 10 hits. Yours and Something So Strong, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
Something so...
Oh, the song, Chris. Okay, that's the way.
Liz is like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what's a needle drop, by the way? I don't actually know what that means.
So that's like when you're watching a movie and then all of a sudden like a song will start playing.
Okay.
And to go along with like whatever's happening. So it's like you'll be watching a movie and then all of a sudden it'll go like do 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 do. You're like, oh.
Third Eye Blind?
Yeah.
Was that what that was? Thank you.
Third Eye Blind will
really?
start playing.
I thought it was
Hey,
the
let's
Muppets.
play. Name that tune. Here we go.
I thought you were doing the Muppets theme. Okay.
The wheel has picked Liz to go next.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll be quick with this one. And I maybe have done this on a previous popping playlist, so I hope not. And that is Bless the Broken Road.
I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping.
I think if you heard it, you would know it, but it was made most famous by Rascal Flatts. It's like a really famous country love song, kind of a big soaring song. What I want to say about it, it may be apocryphal and it may be not true, but it's a love song about someone kind of being grateful for the relationships that didn't work out, that led them ultimately to the person that they were meant to be with. And the story that I have heard, and I have every reason to believe that it's true, is it was written by Marcus Hummin, who is married to Becca Stevens. And Becca Stevens is a famous Episcopal priest. He is also a faithful Episcopalian. And that the song is about Jesus. It's a love song about Jesus. Once you hear it...
It's a Jesus is my boyfriend song.
Right. And once you hear it, it really makes it... It's sort of like what we were talking about earlier, that a love song can have so many different meanings. Like, I mean, the very first line is, I set out on a narrow way many years ago. The narrow way. I should have known. I should have not needed to be told this. But anyway, reading it through that lens is pretty special. And I love it when something is revealed about a person's faith, or when someone shares their faith in a way that is not cheesy.
Beck came to Episcopal, Marcus comes too. Mm-hmm. And so he does music and all this kind of stuff, which is awesome. And so he sang in chapel, God bless him.
Oh, he did? Oh.
So cool.
That's sweet.
It was so cool. Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Wheel.
All right, Wheel.
Spinning. Has picked me for a third time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. Getting this out of the way early. Okay.
Wheel and I.
Thanks, Wheel.
Wheel and I are really doing good. Okay, so
are
this
we on
is
the
my...
90s now, Greg?
Yes, we are in the 90s one-hit wonder, and this is the one that I am going to clear out and talk a little bit, because I was a youth in the 90s, and I'm going to talk about the song Here and Now by Letters to Cleo.
All other things to get and keep getting, never enough, never ending. I just thought, think about
Here's the thing about the mid 90s was there was this genre of music called alternative rock because nobody knew what anything was. Like Nirvana had come on the scene and made grunge music really popular, but all they were really doing was just kind of making like pop versions of Pixie songs, you know, where it was like quiet, 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 loud, quiet, 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 loud. And so everybody just started doing that, right? And so there were these bands that were kind of caught up in this wave that weren't from Seattle, weren't from LA, weren't part of like this whole sort of crew of Pearl Jam, Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, like all of that stuff, Screaming Trees. They were just kind of like these, off the radar rock / folk bands. Think like Gin Blossoms, people like this, like, they're just kind of floating around. Letters to Cleo was one of those. And around like 1995, they had this hit song called Here and Now, which came out, which was on like alternative radio all the time. And it was this really kind of funky song. I'm gonna look up the lyrics real quick. There's this part right before the chorus where she just like goes off and just starts like, it's where it says this, and it might be the comfort of a knowledge of a rise above the sky, but could never parallel the challenge of an acquisition in the here and now, here and now. So that's what kind of leads up to the chorus. But what you hear on the radio is because like nobody can understand like what she's saying at the moment. And so like whenever me and my friends would listen to the song, we would like sing along and like nobody would know what we were singing as we would kind of mumble our way through. I have no history with this band. I have no knowledge of where they came from or who they are or what they've done since. I'm sure they're out there like playing concerts with like Smash Mouth or something right now. But this song, if it ever comes on, immediately transports me back to like riding around in cars, doing nothing, hanging out on Saturday nights, Letters to Cleo all the time. It surprises me and it always makes me smile and think about like what it meant to sort of drive around with friends doing nothing.
So they disbanded in 2000, but reunited for a small tour in 2008.
Yay.
And then in 2016, they released an EP. Get ready for this title, Back to Nebraska.
Oh my gosh. Are they from
Even though
Nebraska?
they are from Boston. So I don't know what that means. So there you go. Back to Nebraska.
They wish they were from Nebraska.
Obviously, like everyone does.
They wish they could apply for a job there in the
Yeah,
diet.
they wish they were Episcopal priests who could.
Anyway,
If you ever want to sell me a stereo, play Here and Now on the machine and I'll buy it. Okay, spinning the wheel. Wheel has chosen Betsy.
Okay, great. Well, then I'll do one that's a takeoff from a TV show because Greg did one of those like 6 songs ago. There's a show that's on Apple right now called Shrinking, and it stars Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. The very awesome Jessica Williams is in it, as well as the next door neighbor played by Krista Miller. But anyway, so there's a song for the opening sequence that's written by the song composer as well as Benjamin Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie. So Ben Gibbard sings a song, so it definitely has a Death Cab for Cutie vibe. It's called Frightening Fishes.
These days I've been barely holding on, climbing the walls every dusk till dawn, fearing the future.
And so the show is basically, it's got Harrison Ford, Jessica Williams, and Jason Segel are all therapists. And so it's their life as therapists, but also their interchange in life with each other. It's a comedy. It's about grief. It's about loss. It's about life. And so the soundtrack is really good. If you remember, Scrubs had a really great soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And so this also has a really great soundtrack as well. And so the song, Ben Gibbard said that he had this image in his head of those anglerfish that are so scary that he saw on like a documentary as a kid. And so he was trying to imagine the weight we carry around being dragged down to like the Mariana Trench, that sort of thing. So it's like, help me carry this weight that's dragging me down, pull me out of the drink, before I start to drown. Let the wreckage all sink to where the fishes are frightening. So the song is called Frightening Fishes.
Ooh, that sounds good. I'm seeing Death Cab for Cutie this fall
Oh,
at the Greek in Berkeley
Oh,
and
that's
Postal
fun.
Service. Yeah.
I saw them on Broadway.
Did you? Did you see them on Broadway?
Ricardo, you have been chosen by the wheel.
wow. Finally. Thank you.
That's exciting.
Saving the best for last. Okay, this is my second choice. I don't remember how I found this song. Again, I think it just sort of showed up on Spotify and it kind of blew me away. It's called Praying by Kesha.
Well, you almost had me fooled. Told me that I was nothing without you. Oh.
Came out in 2017. Now, I don't know her except that I knew that her name had a $ as the S. And I guess she had a big, huge hit called TikTok, which I don't know, maybe that's what they named the thing after. But I kind of thought, oh, she's just kind of some, hit person from like the 2010s, and it's all this kind of shallow music, this whole business. So this song comes on and I'm like, wow, this song's amazing. And I look and it's Kesha. She didn't have the $ anymore. And so I don't know if you know her story, but
Yes.
she was just kind of a pop dance star, I guess, in 2011 or 12. But she had this nasty kind of evil manager. This song is about coming to feel empathy for someone else, even if they hurt you or scare you, Kesha wrote. And she says, it's a song about learning to be proud of the person you are, even during low moments when you feel alone. It's also about hoping everyone, even someone who hurts you, can heal, she added. So this song, Praying, is off an album called Rainbow, and it's, I think, stunning. I'm going to read you some of the lyrics. Sometimes I pray for you at night. Someday maybe you'll see the light. Oh, some say in life you're going to get what you give, but some things only God can forgive. So she's saying, I can't forgive you, but I hope that you become less tormented and less kind of an awful person. So I just think that's kind of amazing that she can do that after what was done to her, and yet be honest about it. She's not, sugarcoating it. She's not being like overly vengeful, but she's acknowledging that she's come out stronger. I just think it's an amazing song. Spin the wheel.
I'm spinning it. It has come up Betsy.
Ooh, third song. A song that's kind of come back. I've been doing like new wave playlists for like because my students have been like, when we'll do like working time in class, they'll be like, let's listen to some of your music that you listen to. So, I'm saying, oh, have you all heard of the B-52s? Like I'm talking about like stuff like that. But a song that's kind of come up in that wormhole kind of searching is Michael Penn. Do we all know Michael Penn, married to Amy Mann and the brother of Sean Penn? Like he's a great songwriter and a wonderful guitarist. But the song is called No Myth.
So she says it's time she goes, but wanted to be sure I know. She hopes we can be friends.
And it's a great song. No Myth. There's another one he does called This and That. And he's just great. The songs are tight. They hang well together. The lyrics are great. And it just takes me back to high school. And like, no one's heard of Michael Penn? I've heard of him. He's really good. And like just kind of a really wonderful singer-songwriter. Michael Penn. Like Michael Penn.
When was this song? Is it from like recent or like the 2000s? Do you know?
Like 1989.
Oh, Michael Penn. Okay.
I wonder what he's doing now.
I don't know, but Amy Mann is just great.
I mean, so cool, right?
Like super cool.
Like your spouse is really cool.
All right. The wheel has chosen Liz again.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I told you my list was eclectic, and I picked this one just because I'm going to see Lizzo on Friday. And I am excited. And so it's a Lizzo song. It's Truth Hurts by Lizzo, which is just such a great song. And I have a funny story about it that I just want to tell, that in 2020, our diocesan clergy retreat was led by former presiding bishop Katharine Jefferts Schori, and she's fantastic. If our listeners don't know who she is, go Google her. She has an incredible story. She's a big leader in our tradition, and she's a real smart woman. She's pretty quiet. And I was in a small group with her during the whole retreat. So I think I started to think that like I really knew her, like I think I started to think that we had become friends. So this is yes.
Oh, it's really awkward.
We are friends
all the time.
And this is really like pretty. This whole story could just like tell it at my funeral. Like it is just a pretty good snapshot of what it's like to be me. So anyway, after the retreat's over, I'm going out to lunch with her and our bishop, our diocesan bishop. We're taking her out to lunch before taking her to the airport. And we stop and park the car. We're downtown and outside of a store that is just blasting Truth Hurts, like outside the store. And I don't know if you all remember the first time that you heard Lizzo, but like it's kind of arresting. You're kind of like, who is, like, what is this? The energy is great.
Mm-hmm.
I was in 2020, like in a real era of like kind of being a woman and like, it's kind of post Me Too. And like, you all remember during the Trump presidency. And anyway, so Bishop Jefferts Schori says, who is this? Who is this artist? And I said, oh my God, this is Lizzo. And I said, she looks at me, she doesn't know who Lizzo is. And I said, the first line of this song is, I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that.
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Even when I'm crying crazy, yeah, I got boy problems. That's the human in me. Bling, bling, then I solve them. That's the goddess in me. You could have had a bad bitch, not committal. Help you with your career, just a little. You're supposed to hold me down, but you're holding me back. And that's the sound of me not calling you back. Why men gray till they gotta be gray? Don't text me, tell it straight to my face. Best friend set me down in the salon chair. Shampoo press, get you out of my hair. Fresh photos with the bomb lighting. New man on the Minnesota Vikings. Truth Hurts needed something more exciting. Bum, bum, dum, dum, bum, you tried to break my heart.
Which I thought Katharine Jefferts Schori would appreciate. I really did, because I think it's one of the greatest lyrics in like pop music history. And the look on her face.
Oh no.
Oh man.
It's mortifying. She just looked at me like, did you just call me a it was so confusing. And so I was just like, so it's really empowering. It's a great song. Great song. You should look her up. Lizzo. She plays the flute too. She's real impressive.
Did you tell that to?
So you were trying to like run it back.
And it's a breakup song. And I think it's really empowering. And I think as a woman in a leadership position, there are times when you kind of have to dig into that vibe. Katharine Jefferts Schori and I are not of the same generation. We don't.
She was not ready to dig into that vibe with you, Liz.
And like that is classic me, honestly. Yep. Like that type of thing happens to me quite a bit. But we recovered. No, we didn't say anything else about
that's
it.
awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
So there's Lizzo and there's Oh Liz.
Exactly.
Yep. That is true.
So I cannot hear this song without thinking of that moment. And truth be told, I'm not even that embarrassed. It was just so funny. And like, how do you, like, you can't explain, like, this is a really funny moment. Like, I wish you could get how funny this is, but you don't.
So Liz, Katharine Jefferts Schori and I are good friends.
Really? Ask her if you.
No, we're not. But I feel like I have enough of a sense of her to know that probably wouldn't have flown. So I'm glad you felt comfortable enough at whatever retreat you were. I don't know what they were feeding you, but
We were in a small group together. Like, I really did feel like I had gotten to know her. But the topic of the retreat was about anti-violence, and she was specifically talking about violent language. And I misread the moment.
Wow.
to put it one way.
Yeah, a little bit.
That is a great lyric, though.
It is such a great lyric. It is such a fun, it is such a fun song. And for a breakup song, it is just so empowering.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Well, you never know. Maybe someday she'll tour, give a talk, and she'll just kind of come out and lead with that line and just kind of really give a smackdown when it's where it's
she will not.
I think so. And you know how she'll follow up? She'll read that lyric and she'll say, my good friend Liz Easton from the Diocese of Nebraska introduced me to this song.
What? I cannot imagine what she was thinking, and I can't imagine what I was thinking, other than just being so excited about
about your new blossoming friendship.
Yes, and my poor bishop is standing there
so sorry.
Take it back.
So sorry. So sorry.
So Liz, I don't want to diss presiding bishops, but I think you were in the right. I think it was all right. I mean, certainly there's a time and a place, and you need to read the room or the person, but you were being your authentic self, and you were sharing something up,
And what I'm about to say, do not include this in the podcast, Greg. These are my margin hands. You have to cut this part out.
5 hours later.
Anyway, thanks.
I don't think I could go on.
Lot to unpack.
Okay. Okay, what's going on next, Greg?
So the wheel has chosen me. So this is my last song.
Wow.
Wait, are we all to our last song? Ricardo?
No, Ricardo has 2 more.
Oh, Ricardo, you've got 2 more. Wow.
Close it out.
Wow. Okay, so for my 4th song, just really quickly, we have arrived at the 2000s one-hit wonder, and I have chosen Young Folks by Peter, Bjorn, and John, which the only reason that you know this song is because there's a wonderful whistled intro to the song. If I could whistle, I would whistle it. But you'll hear it right now playing under my voice, and so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In the 2000s, there were these fun little do pop songs that came out, and I gotta tell you, I'm a sucker for a good pop song, and this is a good one. But the thing that I love about the song is that there's a lyric at the chorus where it says,
And we don't care about the young folks talking about the outside. And we don't care about the old folks talking about the old style too. And we don't care about the wrong folks talking about the wrong style. All we care about is talking over me and you.
Real poetry.
real poetry right there. But a very simple way of saying that everybody's gonna put an agenda on you or an expectation on you. But you know what? You don't have to live up to any of that stuff. Just be yourself. Just be your own Liz, talking about whatever with the former presiding bishop, and be yourself. Here's the thing. As someone who's worked with young people in the church, I believe there was someone on the podcast that said these very words, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's the source of optimism in our church, working with young people. And it's a gift that I've received working with them, in that I don't ever have to really listen to them complain about the institution or complain about like the politics or anything like that. Like, they complain, but it's usually about life stuff and not about dumb church stuff. And the more I work with adults, the more I wish I could just go back to working with youth more and more, because like adults just really drag you down, and youth really are pretty optimistic and hopeful about what the future of the church is. And so I like this song because it's like, listen, don't come in here with like, you know, some agenda or some style that you think that like people need. Just talk about whoever it is that you are, and it'll be fine. And the other encouraging thing that comes from the work that I do and did more of before a couple of years ago, but definitely still do, is that we talk a lot about sort of the future of the Episcopal Church and where is it, and, you know, blah, 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 and is it dying and all of this stuff. And what I can tell you is that, you know, for all the complaints that people have about Gen Z and young people and stuff, they are better than us. Like, they are better than any older generation that came before them. I always hate it, like, when people use like, oh, they're a member of the greatest generation, because I'm like, no, I've met the greatest generation, and they're a lot younger than who you're referencing. So
That's sweet.
So we're in good shape. Like the future's in really good hands, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just really glad that I get to work with those people. So that's all.
You really gave Peter, Bjorn, and John a lot of credit. That was good. They should be happy about that. Didn't that song in a commercial too? I feel like they also sold that song.
I don't know, probably.
It was around.
I mean, come on. If you're a one-hit wonder, like, don't you think Chumbawamba sold their song like crazy? Like, you know,
sure, but I think if you have a strong whistle, you're already a commercial success.
Strong whistle.
Strong whistle.
Yeah, that is a strong whistle.
I agree with that.
All right, Wheel has chosen Liz.
Oh my god. I'm really having like regrets about telling that story. Do you think that was okay to leave it in the pod?
Dude, if I have to cut that story from the pod, I'm going to be so sad.
No, you don't. But like, do you guys seriously think it's okay?
No, but I think we've all had that moment, especially with somebody who is a older peer and mentor type.
Yeah.
And it's like, we bonded at this thing. Don't you remember?
You did not diminish her. You did not like make fun of her. You did not mock her. This was a funny exchange that these are the stories that our people come to this podcast to listen to.
Okay. I'm trusting you guys. Okay, so my last pick, number 4, is a song that I love, and sometimes I forget that I love, and then I remember it, and it's been stuck in my head all day ever since I picked it. And this is a beautiful little song by the kind of country folk artist Iris DeMent called Our Town.
And you know the sun's setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. We'll go on.
I first heard it. I'm a big fan of Northern Exposure. I've always liked that show. Sadly, it's impossible to find now. It doesn't stream anywhere. And I have DVDs of the full collection of Northern Exposure, except for one volume that I loaned out in seminary and never got back. But anyway, that was a great show from the mid-90s. It was before my time. Like, I didn't watch it when it was on, but I sort of came to appreciate it later. And I watched it when I was in seminary. And the last, it's a story show about a little town in Alaska. It's very quirky. And the last scene of the last episode of that show, the song playing over it is Our Town by Iris DeMent. And it's a story about a woman walking through her town, saying goodbye to her town. Over here is where I bought my first car. Over here is where I had my first drink. Over here is where I met my husband, where I had my kids. And there's a sense that the town is vanishing, that the town is disappearing. It's sort of like Bruce Springsteen's My Hometown, kind of, but it's not as low vibe. It's more kind of folky, poppy sort of. So that's one interpretation of the song. The other is that the person telling the story herself, is dying and she's saying goodbye to her town. But it's a really lovely song. And when I was looking into it today, it was the very first song that Iris DeMent ever wrote. She was 25 years old and she was driving through like a vanishing Midwestern town. And she sat down and wrote this song and she was like, that's it, I'm a songwriter. Like, just found my life's vocation. Thank you very much. And then she has been a songwriter for the rest of her career. It's a really pretty song, and it has come to mean a lot to me because a lot of my life now is spent in small towns, some of which are truly vanishing. The last time that we closed a church was a few years ago. And as we were rolling into town, it was me and the bishop and another member of our staff. I put that song on and we just kind of listened to it as we drove into this town where truly like buildings are boarded up, and it is a vanishing way of life and a vanishing town. And that's my last pick.
She just had an album come out, 2023.
You know, Iris DeMent is the singer, I believe, of the theme song to The Leftovers season 2 and 3. Like the
I think that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Cool.
Let's find out. Hey Siri, did Iris DeMent sing the theme song to The Leftovers? Let the mystery be.
Oh, nice.
The Transatlantic Sessions. Iris Luella DeMent, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Luella.
Okay, Wheel has spun again and has picked Ricardo this time.
For some reason, I didn't realize this until now, but my second pick about 17 songs ago is echoed in this one because it's about a woman overcoming her circumstances to kind of empower herself, I think. So this song also came from that list that I found, the best songs of 1969. I forget who, if it was Billboard or who, Rolling Stone, but this song was number 8 of the year, and I'd never heard it before. And I listened to it, I thought, oh, this better be good. Well, it's fantastic. It's by someone who, I will use a Latin phrase to please my husband, someone who I think is sui generis, meaning one of a kind. You just don't get songwriting like this. So it's Bobby Gentry. She's famous for that song, Ode to Billy Joe. You know, the day that Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Ooh, nice. But this song is from 1969 and called Fancy.
I remember it all very well. Looking back, it was the summer I turned 18. We lived in a one-room rundown shack on the outskirts of New Orleans. We didn't have
Bobby Gentry. And she is a phenomenal songwriter. You know, I read up on her a little bit to prepare for this, and she disappeared. You know, she had a couple of hits. She had an album, I think, that she did with Glenn Campbell. And then like in 1982, she just stopped. She was done. And people don't even know where she lives right now. But she was like a model for a while. She grew up poor. So I'll tell you about the song first. So the song, Wikipedia puts it really kind of strangely succinctly. The song depicts its protagonist using prostitution to overcome childhood poverty. So it's sort of like a weird blend. It's a shocking song.
It's a little problematic, but it's a banger. Like, it is a great song.
Wait, this is my sister's karaoke song. You're thinking Reba McEntire.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Now, Greg.
Yeah.
Reba covered it, but yes. This is my sister's karaoke song.
I've never heard. Wait, she sung this at karaoke?
Oh, yeah.
So I've never heard the Reba McEntire version until Liz mentioned that there was one. And yeah, sure enough, when I looked it up, it's like one of her biggest hits or by Spotify listens. So I'd never heard either version, but Bobby Gentry's, I love. It's got again, it's that whole 60s thing. It's got horns. It's got strings. It's got backup singers like, yes, she was. You know.
Yep.
It's got drums. It's got like sound effects. Like there's a point where like a roach goes across her high-heeled shoe and the little violin goes, bloop, 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 you know? It's brilliant. I mean, the lyrics just kind of fall out. There's like 900 verses, Tell them.
I know literally every word to this song, and I could sing it right now.
Wow.
Really?
You'll be nice to the gentleman fancy.
Yep, I
They'll
remember it
be
all very well.
kind
It was the
to
summer
you.
I turned 18.
Is that your karaoke song, Liz?
No, but it could be. I lived in a
should be.
one-room rundown shack on the outskirts of New Orleans.
So my
Mine's,
sister like loved this song when she was like 12. Like she and her friend Katie Baldwin loved this song. I think. Yeah.
That is so
Like
great.
now I'm like that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Oh, I've never heard the song before until this year, but boy, it's caught my fancy. So what Bobby Gentry had to say about the song, she viewed it as a feminist statement. She says, "Fancy is my strongest statement for women's lib, if you really listen to it. I agree wholeheartedly with that movement and all the serious issues they stand for: equality, equal pay, daycare centers, and abortion rights." So Fancy by Bobby Gentry, who I wish had, I don't know, done more stuff that we know. It's a great song.
That's
Oh,
a
it's
great
a jam.
choice.
It's a great. Okay, I'm gonna spin the wheel. The wheel has chosen Betsy.
So my last song, I was up in New York in April to see Bono on Broadway. I don't know if I mentioned that, but so I was there and I was hanging out in Brooklyn with my lovely friends Janice and Jay in their apartment, and it was kind of this, I'd seen Bono on Friday, and it was this rainy Saturday, right? And so they just have great taste in music and have some great playlists they just kind of play or whatever they were doing. And so this song came on that I don't know whether I'd ever heard before. And it's a song by the band De La Soul. And it's called A Roller Skating Jam Named Saturday.
Yes.
I've never heard that.
It is a great song. It's on the album De La Soul is Dead from 1991. And it's just, the vocal gymnastics are awesome. I love De La Soul. I know famously for a long time their stuff wasn't streaming anywhere and that sort of thing. So I had to use it off albums and vinyl, but now it is. And so it was just on the playlist. And so this song's really famous for using a lot of samples in it. And so it samples the songs you may have heard of. Frankie Valli's song from Greece, Chicago's Saturday in the Park, Young and Holt's Unlimited Light My Fire. I Got My Mind Made Up by the funk band Instant Funk. Tower of Power's Ebony Jam, Cheek's Good Times, and the Furious Four's F4000. So they're just weavers. Like they weave a textile of music, De La Soul does. And so it's just this rainy Saturday, but it was like this shaman song. And I was like, what is this? I made my phone tell me what it was. And so now I've been listening to it ever since. It's just a great jam. I love it.
Girl meets boy on Thursday night. Boy was high, girl fly like kite. They hold hands until next day. Boy, then let's go hit his way. Boy rolls blunt back to his boys. Erection brings bad boy joys. Boy thinks of that big fat back. Big black fat, love big black fat. Girl calls boy to send him up on Saturday. Saturday is the Saturday. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. Saturday is the Saturday. Saturday is the Saturday.
Back once more with the wallop in the score. Sponsored by the riff shit to make you rock your hip. Revival of the roller boogie in a ricochet to make you think about the time we spoke fun instead of fight. But diving from a piece of metal should have jumped that light. Slip your butt to the fix of this mix. Toss that briefcase, it's time to let loose. Cause you work like heck to get the weekend check. So unfasten that sleeper on your neck. Connected like a vibe from the wheel to the foot. Come on everybody, get the funky output.
5 days you work, 1 whole day to play. Come on everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday. It's
Great jam. And De La Soul is amazing. And yes, their songs just hit streaming maybe a month and a half ago.
Yeah. So De La Soul was when we were in college, and it was the big thing, the 3 Feet High and Rising album.
So good.
Well, that whole weaving thing that you're talking about, Betsy, is probably why they were in such trouble all these years.
Right. All the samples, yeah. But yeah, it's so tremendous. But I love that song now. It's my fave.
Yay. Am I the only one who has a fourth pick left?
You are cleaning up our playlist with the very last song.
Oh,
Very last song.
Well, I tell you, it's going to be a very strange segue from the De La Soul to this song. So this song is depressing. Actually, all the 4 songs have a little depressing thing going on. The song is "Love Will Tear Us Apart," and it is sung in the version I am choosing by June Tabor, who is an English folk singer, like traditional kind of English folk singer with a beautiful voice. And she recorded an album or more, I don't know, but in 2011 with a band called, I think, the Oyster Band. And so this song is kind of a duet. It's basically about a relationship that's falling apart. By Joy Division sang the original. And you guys know "Love Will Tear Us Apart" by Joy Division?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that version came out in 1980, and Joy Division was kind of massively influential. And that version is a little more kind of percussive, and his voice sounds like he's singing in a cave, like "When routine bites hard," or like this, right? And so the lyrics, it's depressing, but it's mostly the music, the and the synthesizer that kind of gets the beat going. And when I first heard it, it was like I was in college in 1986. I was roommates with, there were 6 of us in like a 3-bedroom apartment that was illegal to have more than 4 people in Madison, Wisconsin. But one of my roommates was Doug McRobb, and he was like super cool. He would dry his hair so that it stood up like, Robert Smith of The Cure. And he listened to all that, the Go-Betweens and all these bands. And so he loved Joy Division, and they became New Order after Ian Curtis died. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's more famous, but Joy Division was hugely influential. But Ian Curtis was really troubled. He was struggling in his marriage. He suffered from depression, and he had epilepsy. And so all this stuff, I thought, wow, great song. But then I heard this version, I just happened upon it on Spotify, and it's very bare, and the lyrics really come out. And the lyrics are really vulnerable. The lyrics about a disintegrating marriage, in this case, when I hear this version really come out, I'm just going to read a couple.
You cry out in your sleep, all my feelings exposed. There's a taste in my mouth as desperation takes hold. Just that something so good just don't function no more. And love will tear us apart again. Love will tear us apart again.
That's intense. Mm-hmm. And from someone who's 23 years old, talking about how, he goes right into the bed, into the bedroom. We're not even doing this right anymore. And why and what's happened. But it wasn't until I heard this June Tabor version that I realized how vulnerable that song was. And what I want to say personally is that in the 1980s, when I was in college and I thought, I have my whole life ahead of me and I was tormented or whatever, this song was like this fun, sad, fun song. But now I'm middle-aged, and some of this stuff is true. Life didn't kind of turn out the way you planned in some ways, and romance. And obviously I'm happily married, but there are things one looks back on and is like, well, I wish my life had gone this way. Her voice, June Tabor's crystal clear, beautiful voice, it just has that tinge of regret that you couldn't hear in Ian Curtis's voice because he was singing like he was in a cave. So I guess the passage of time, I think, is what I hear in this version, but also just beautiful music and some rediscovered music, repurposed for a cover that's even more meaningful to me now than even that song, I think, was back then. Mm. So it's a fabulous, again, it's a classic. Love Will Tear Us Apart, sung by June Tabor and the Oyster Band, but originally written by Ian Curtis and sung by Joy Division, performed. It's a great song. And that's the thing about music, man. It accompanies, like Greg was saying, you hear a song and it takes you right back to when you were driving around with nothing to do. It takes you back to Catherine Jefferts Schori. It takes you back to
It does.
like Bono. And so I think music is the best thing. I just think when we have to make an account for ourselves as a human race to God, we can say, but look at these songs. I think we'll kind of get a reprieve.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you. Thanks,
Very cool.
everybody. Thank you for sharing your stories and your songs and your wisdom and your perspectives. We will call this popping playlist a wrap. You've got to find us on Spotify. What's it going to be called, Greg?
It will be called Popping Playlist 2023, and you'll find it embedded on our website. If you just go to poppingcollegepodcast.com, click the link at the top that says Popping Playlists, and you'll find the list right there on our website.
Terrific. Thank you. So you can listen for hours and let them become your memories as well. So that's a wrap. Our Popping Playlist 2023. Thank you all for your great songs. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Betsy. And you can find us, Popping Collars, that is, where you found us now, and other places too, like the not called Episcopal Cafe anymore, but episcopaljournal.org, which we love to write in their diary of episcopaljournal.org, and we know you will too. And we have merchandise. We have a great new line of products. You can get our logo on almost anything you want. Let's get it out there, spread the word, spread the logo, and all shall be well. And that's it for this episode of Popping Collars. We will see you next time, the four of us and you, to talk about it all once more. So until then, keep those collars popped.
Pop, pop.
It's like the Lord of the Rings
Oh,
outro.
man.
We did it. Good work.
It was
guys.
Oh no.
It was a little bit Gospel of John at the end there. Just
I went into a trance.
It was good. It was good. It was just like the farewell discourse. It was great.
Oh, great. 4 chapters.
That's right.
Love will tear us apart.